It's time for the Thyworm Weekly Roundup with my curated news and personal gaming endeavors. Are you enjoying these? Consider subscribing. Last Epoch released an article with upcoming features and they're pretty cool, so let's take a look at what we can expect. First, stash tabs will be searchable. This may seem like a minor improvement, but it's a huge quality of life feature actually. I've played Last Epoch for around 100 hours currently and my 6 stash tabs are filled with items. Uniques, set items, cool rarities with rare affixes and some items that I think will work well for a specific build. Finding these, however, is tough. I try to organize as best as I can, but you know, there's a lot of items. Making these searchable through some keywords like the affixes makes my life a lot easier. I can instantly highlight all mana efficiency items, or all health regen items, or all glancing blow items. Another change that is super useful and has to do with the stash as well is a level requirement indicator. Once again, imagine a full stash, but this time I'm rolling a new alt. I do this a lot, especially when creating new build guides, because I want to cover both the leveling experience and give you guys some tips on that, as well as the endgame. While leveling, however, I want to use good items to smoothen the process a bit. Currently, there's no way of knowing which items I can use at level 8 unless I hover over each item to see their level requirements. But fortunately, this isn't the case any longer because one of the upcoming changes, a level requirement indicator. Whenever an item isn't usable yet, the stash tabs and inventory will indicate this by showing a red cross in the bottom right corner. Super useful when leveling an alt. There's going to be sorting of the inventory stash as well, a small but good change. The 2D art for items will be improved. I never really noticed anything wrong with this honestly, but apparently it's a little dated and it gets a revamp. Not only the background art, also the inventory window gets an overhaul. On the left you see what it used to be and on the right what the new design is. It looks cool, it's more condensed and a lot more eligible. Those changes may seem minor, but endgame for me is looking at a lot of screens like these to figure out how to improve builds or to figure out why I am dying in the arena. So I'm quite satisfied with these changes. Finally, there are 2 small quality of life changes. While shopping, items turn red if you don't have enough gold to buy them. And the last one is that you are given a new hotkey to modify the equip function of a ring, so you can also equip it in your secondary ring slot. Currently, all hotkeys only work for one ring slot, and if you want to change the secondary ring slot, you need to manually drag the rings. With the new modifier key, this isn't the case anymore, so that's nice. Wolcen released a statement about their release and their pricing. The game launches on January 30th, 2020, so that's pretty soon. New features versus the current version includes, but aren't limited to, 3x instead of 1, level 90 level cap instead of level 20, more skills, more passives, more armor, more weapons, and really a whole list of additional features. There's talk about a new endgame as well, but details are not yet provided, so that remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is the fact that the price of Wolcen will increase to €40 or $45. Wolcen Studios believes this is more in line with what you're getting. I'm personally a little skeptical, honestly. This list of new features is absolutely huge, and none of it is in the game as of now. Implementing this in a matter of weeks seems a tall order, especially when looking at their development history. I already bought the game, however, and I will definitely report on it once it launches, so just stay tuned for that to see how this game delivers at launch. That is the time we can properly judge this game, instead of commenting on promises. Encased launches their new content patch December 14th. The date has now been revealed, as well as a list of new features. We can look forward to a new prologue, new main quest expansion, companions, psi abilities, reworked skill trees, destructible objects, traps, mines and explosions, less ammo types for a more streamlined experience, and new perks. I have a more elaborate video on the new features, link in the card and the description down below. There's a new game in the making that caught my eye. Alaloth, Champion of the Four Kingdoms. This is an upcoming Souls-like high fantasy isometric RPG and you're currently watching the trailer and some footage. There's reason to be excited, however. The main reason is Chris Avellone, and if you don't know who this guy is, he worked on titles like Fallout 2, all Icewind Dale titles, Baldur's Gate, and my all-time favorite Star Wars game, Knights of the Old Republic 2. Later, he founded Obsidian Entertainment, with which he created titles like Fallout New Vegas and Pillars of Eternity. In 2015, 2015 he went freelance and worked as a writer on Prey, Divinity 2 Original Sin, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Pathfinder Kingmaker, and now he is providing creative support to the developers of Alaloth. This could just be a marketing thing, but I like what I see so far. It's set to release somewhere next year, but that is all the info that's out there. I'm keeping an eye out for this one for sure. Another game that is new and potentially interesting is Solar Purge. I got my hands on the alpha key and here's some footage of that alpha. It is alpha, so a little bare bone, but you do get an impression of what this game is like. It's a sci-fi twin stick shooter. It plays really well with the controller. It is intended for co-op and couch co-op. There's 4 classes to choose from. There is an engineer which builds bots, a juggernaut which is a tank, the striker with heavy guns, and the assassin with stealth and sneaking. It's built with Unreal Engine 4, which I have come to appreciate because 95% of games I play that are made using that engine look good, first of all, but more importantly, run well. I can't say the same of Unity, unfortunately. What I liked so far when playing the alpha are 2 things. The controls feel already pretty good, which is important in a twin stick shooter. Aiming is pretty fluid, using skills and abilities as well. Another thing that works are the guns and the violence. Your weapons feel impactful, they have a real punch to them, and shooting enemies with different weapons is very satisfying, even though the levels are mostly empty in this alpha build. It's promising, I would say. The release date is set in 2019 according to Steam, but I did talk to a developer and it is most likely going to be in early access in 2020. I usually finish these episodes with my own gaming updates, what I've played and all, but I gotta say that I haven't played much last week. My work resumed again after being off for 2 weeks, which has had this impact on the content creation, of course. I've also been watching some Netflix instead of playing many games, and I read 2 books, so there you go. I'm working on some more last Epoch content, however. Think build guides for Warpath Ignite and some guides on different game concepts. And that's all I have for you this week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next week. Love you all. Bye bye.